Today we are making Hazelnut Frangelico Brittle. This is a great addition to your holiday cookie tins, or to pass around at a holiday cocktail party, or just to make for something special, a gift to give to a friend or a gift to give to yourself. So it's a little different than peanut brittle, right? So we have all had peanut brittle. We all love peanut brittle. I wanted to create something that had a little kind of a seasonal flavor to it, and I like the use of hazelnuts in a lot of European confectionery. Hazelnuts aren't a really common thing we use in this country, but I love them and a lot of people do. So kind of deconstructed everybody's favorite spreadable treat, Nutella, and thought if Nutella were brittle, what would it be like? And this is the recipe I came up with. So this recipe calls for 2 cups sugar. We're gonna put that right into a large saucepan. A cup of corn syrup. All right, we're gonna start heating that. I am gonna add just a tiny bit of water to it to help liquefy those ingredients. I'm just gonna stir it to get all the ingredients wet so they're ready to dissolve. We're gonna cook this sugar corn syrup mixture until 250. So once this reaches 250, I'm gonna add the raw hazelnuts. Now I've chopped my hazelnuts because spreading brittle with whole round hazelnuts in it, I find a little difficult to get like a pretty nice thin brittle. So I've chopped them, and that way there's like a uniform amount of nuts in each bite too, which I also like. And I'm using raw nuts. A lot of recipes call for roasted nuts that you add more near the end of the cooking time. I like to roast my nuts in the boiling sugar because I think it gives it a really nice flavor. And all right, ready. Add those nuts. Once you add the nuts, you need to be stirring fairly constantly. We're gonna cook this until it reaches 290 degrees. Take care to make sure that your face isn't too close to this boiling sugar because you don't want it to spatter up and hit you in the face. You could even wear safety glasses. That's what we do at work. Pretty good look. 290. We're gonna add 2 ounces of butter and a half a teaspoon Maine sea salt. You can use any salt, I just happen to use Maine sea salt. And we're gonna cook this until it reaches about 310 degrees. And you'll notice that things start to move significantly faster once it reaches the end of cooking time, because this mixture is getting super saturated. So there's less water for the sugar to compete with, and so it heats up a lot faster. 304. Adding that butter really gave it a nice browning. That's the sugar reacting with the proteins in the butter. Okay, we're at 310. We're gonna take this off the heat and we're going to sift in a teaspoon and a half of baking powder. We're gonna stir that in and it's gonna get really fluffy. And we're gonna stir in our tablespoon of hazelnut liqueur and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And now it smells like a Yankee Candle shop, which is a good thing. All right, pour it on our prepared greased sheet pan. The metal really conducts heat when you pour really hot stuff on it, so just be careful if you're grabbing it with your bare hand. So I like to spread this out as thin as I can. If you want to wait until it gets to that sort of plastine consistency, you can actually pull it very thin, but that's hard. We want it to be easy. This is a pretty quick, easy recipe, just so long as you have your temperatures right and the ratio of your ingredients. So we're gonna let this set until it's cool, and then we're gonna break it apart and dip it into dark chocolate. Okay, we're back from letting our brittle set, so we're ready to dip this in chocolate. The first thing we're gonna do is break it apart. I'm using our 56% couverture, dark chocolate couverture. It has a little added cocoa butter to keep it really fluid at a lower temperature. I have melted and tempered about 12 ounces of chocolate. If you are dipping your brittle in chocolate and would like to know how to temper chocolate, you can visit a previous video on how to temper chocolate. So I'm gonna take my bowl, I'm just gonna hold it at a little bit of an angle. I like to use the glossy side of the brittle as the top, and I'm just gonna dip a piece in, I'm gonna spin it around to get the excess off, and place it on the parchment to set. And then I'm gonna sprinkle it with just an added bit of chopped hazelnuts. It'll take a few minutes for that chocolate to set. Then you can either pack it into a tin or an airtight container and put it in the cupboard or on a cool kitchen counter and save it for your event or your cookie swap or your holiday cookie tins. Or you can serve it as an after dinner treat at your next holiday dinner party. I really like brittle, especially this brittle, on a cheese plate. So an after dinner cheese plate, a little bit of this brittle, some nice soft ripened cheese, maybe a aged Gruyere. I think it's really delicious with that really kind of brown buttery cheese. Very interesting, and people will be talking about it. If you have any questions about this recipe, please comment below. If you liked this video and you learned something and you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time in the Ragged Coast Kitchen.